computer and oh no. Oh, I see. Yeah, all right. That's fair. And
I love how you talk to it, man. I mean,
well, you gotta nudge, you gotta coddle,
yeah,
you
you do.
gotta massage it. I mean, it's modern technology, man. Who knows what
Just
the hell's
just
gonna happen
just a
with it?
tip, right? Just a tip. That's
You
it.
know
Just a
what?
tip.
However you choose to go. I mean, I don't go sideways, bro. Don't go sideways. Never,
And there we are, my friend. There we are.
never want to go sideways. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Evan and Aaron show. It is a very, very cold one out there. So we hope you are safe and warm and you've got a nice little hot toddy or whatever to join us.
So what are your phrases about how like being really cold? Have you heard like Midwestern phrases about it being real cold? Like
I haven't heard
cold
any.
enough,
Well, haven't heard much. Go ahead with yours.
cold enough to freeze the balls off a brass ass monkey. You ever heard that one? Yeah,
Cold enough to freeze the balls off a brass monkey, which is, supposedly about an act, ships and things like that.
Yeah, exactly.
My mom used
I
to
didn't know if
say,
that was a Midwest thing.
I don't know if it is or not. I don't know if that's a colloquialism or from around. My mom used to say it's colder than a witch's tit.
Yes,
and
that's another one.
I still am not sure what that means. Aside from, I guess witches are supposed to be cold. I don't know. They only sort of make sense. It doesn't matter.
Anyway, sorry to get sidetracked already, my friend.
You know what? This is how this is all gonna go. So, welcome to Wednesday, everybody. Evan and Aaron show. I'm Aaron. I'm gonna get it right this time. This is my buddy Evan.
What's up?
Hopefully, I pointed correctly. Hopefully, he's
you did on my screen,
okay.
Man. That was
all right. Well,
brilliant.
Okay. Getting the quick Jaeger.
There you go. I was just letting the folks know we're live, dude.
And we're live and ready to go. I think on the heels of it being colder than a witch's tit and cold enough to freeze the balls off of a brass monkey, it has been a snap, as they say, a winter snap, pretty much all over the country. The only places that seem to have been spared are places where spring training baseball was set to begin today. So Arizona and Florida, congratulations. Everywhere else in the country, apparently get fucked. And especially if you're in Texas, you should get fucked because you are probably without power. And a mayor of one of your towns basically said it was your fault and that, hey, pull yourselves up by your bootstraps. Hope those are some tall ass boots in the middle of all this snow and they have extra insulation. For those playing catch up, Texas has been on rolling blackouts for several days now. The power grids have failed and it's happened for a variety of reasons. I think first and foremost is the fact that Texas has their own power grid. We have the Eastern grid, we have the Western grid, and Texas, because they essentially still want to secede.
We got Texas.
Want no federal oversight. So they control it themselves. It's called ERCOT. The electrical regional something of Texas. I don't know.
I have no idea.
And by all accounts, it sounds like they've done a poor job. They did not prepare. They did not winterize, their grid. And it is unexpected to a certain extent. But while we've got, this again is how everything is interconnected. You've got people voting for another group of people, and they all agree that climate change is not happening. And here's an event that's pretty easily pointed to as, a side effect of climate change. Not just that it's cold in Texas, not that it's unusual, but how quickly these things happen and how drastic they are. So they weren't prepared. They did not winterize the grid. And they don't have the ability to tap into the Western or Eastern grids for backup in the way Indiana would. If our power grid went down, we'd call up Illinois, we'd call up Ohio, and we'd probably get held for ransom. That's something people don't know. We'd still have to pay for that energy.
Sure.
But we would have the ability to do so. See, now that would be funny. Now, if if Texas were connected to the eastern or western grid, and basically the neighboring state said, sure, but it's going to cost you this amount of money, they'd still
Oh
bitch
yeah.
about it. They'd show they'd walk to, with their guns.
Yeah.
This is our right. Well,
They'd walk with, we're Texas, damn it. We shouldn't have to do that shit. And
the best part is Ted Cruz's tweets dug up from a year or so ago about him mocking California. Now, to his credit, I rarely will give the man credit. To his credit,
this is going to be interesting.
He basically said, "I've got no excuse. I was mocking somebody, and now we're in trouble." That doesn't really excuse him or his facial hair. But at least it's an acknowledgement that he was a douche and bad things happen to people, and it's kind of without their, outside of their control. But yeah, I mean, I feel bad to a certain extent for the people of Texas, mainly those people in and around Austin, because they probably didn't vote for those fucks.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
this is an example of, not being prepared, voting for people who honestly don't have anyone's best interests at heart, and certainly don't care when shit like this happens. The greed of privatizing and deregulating the entire grid, not having it ready. I mean, you can just point to how one dot on the map leads to the very next dot on the map, leads to the very next dot on the map, leads to rolling power outages in Texas. And I hate to point that out. And you know what? If somebody does the same to me because of poor Democratic leadership, you know what? That's fine. That's fine. Put that together.
Yeah.
But right now, in the here and now, it's way too easy to plot these dots on a chart and say, this is exactly how we got here. And for the people trying to blame the 10% of the state of Texas that uses wind turbines, are idiots. And by the way, they're also conveniently ignoring the fact that all the solar stuff is still working, because when it's cold like this and there's no other weather, that sunlight actually charges those things better, and they're getting more sunlight off of the snow. So it's kind of funny how they pick and choose. Everybody likes to cherry pick, but this is an interesting one to me.
First of all, man, Governor Abbott is absolutely one of the most incompetent leaders in our country. This man got on there and actually said what you said that, because this 10% of failure was from renewable resources, it just goes to show that, fossil fuels, they're the way to go. I'm like, you know what? Stop being so dumb.
Yeah.
I mean, don't
ever accuse people of playing politics either. You're literally playing politics.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the whole thing failed. So talk about the 90%. Yeah. Okay, talk about that. But no, he gets on there and does that. But anyway, I did a little digging on this, man, and what I found was exactly what you said as far as corrupt. It gives validity, even more validity to my in your stance on feminism. We need women in leadership. My God, we need women in leadership. Especially in fucking Texas. God. But anyway, they had a chance to incentivize renewable energy, incentivize, updating the grid. They had an opportunity to, and they chose not to, and they chose to incentivize not doing these upgrades and saving money, Aaron. And what that tells me is that, and I agree with Io. I do, because this is where I'm going with this, is that it's the same thing we've been saying about Donald Trump to people who believe that he is, the working man's president, that believes that he speaks for he doesn't give a shit about you. He doesn't. And once again, I'm trying my best to represent where I stand on this, because I do believe politicians from both sides have turned their back on people. I do believe that politicians have at times profited off of people. But what we're seeing recently, what we're seeing in the recent future or in a recent past, is that one particular party that particularly controls the state of Texas doesn't give a shit about people. They just don't, Aaron. And this is why people are suffering. This is why people were on the TV saying, you know what? Everything in my fridge is spoiled. This is why people are shoveling their
Could
driveways.
have put it outside.
Yeah, well, yeah, you could have put it outside. Absolutely. Yeah, why not?
Clearly,
Just
you're
pull
from the
yourself up
South
by
and
your
don't
bootstraps.
understand these tricks that when the power
it's like,
goes
come
out.
on. But this is why people are putting snow in their bathtubs, man. This is why people are doing all this, is because of the corruption from within. It's not a matter, in my opinion, it's not a matter of just sheer ignorance, because ignorance is really easy to play off. And I'm going to say something, and Bill Cosby said it, and I'm sorry, but it applies to this.
You didn't need to credit it.
Well, no, I did, because people are going to look it up and be like, "Oh, he quoted Bill Cosby." I'm like, you know what? No, it's applicable to this situation right here. He was talking about men, and he said, "We are dumb, but we are not so dumb. It takes great skill and precision to seem so stupid." And this is exactly what's happening here, is that the Republican Party is using great skill.
Yeah.
And they're using great just insight on how people think to seem stupid, to be like, oh, well, yeah, we kind of messed.
Well,
no, bullshit. You guys knew exactly what was happening. You knew what would happen if this happened. And now we need to hold their feet to the fire.
Yeah. Well, that goes directly to Io's point here. Is it incompetence though? It's way more insidious than that. Yeah. And this has been the game plan for a long time, and that is to, basically deny, pretend something doesn't happen, and then feign ignorance when it does. It's whether it's climate denial or immigration issues. I mean, all of these things. I still do not really truly consider myself a Democrat. I don't. I identify with certain platform aspects, and I've predominantly voted that way, no doubt. But I just don't, for a variety of reasons. But right here is an example of why I do tend to side with them, is because I don't see this type of bullshit. Don't get me wrong. Democrats play politics. That no one is not guilty of playing some politics, of muddying the waters and shit like that. But I have just never seen such a consistent attempt at gaslighting as we've seen for probably the last 60 years since Goldwater.
Yep. I was going to say about 6 decades worth.
I mean, the big lie of Ronald Reagan was trickle-down economics, and people are still
the war on drugs.
People are still repeating that.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Here's where I take this is my perspective on that. Of course, I don't think there should have been a war on drugs, because I think it's ironic that people who believe in all these states' rights and individual rights and all that are so harsh on drugs and things like that, which again, it becomes more of a racial issue when you really get into it. But if you do believe that they're a scourge, then the whole notion of let's declare war on drugs, let's declare war on poverty, let's attack these things. I get the concept of it, but the implementation of it was ridiculous. Trickle down economics? Nah, bro, you know better. Now, tell me who's teaching that theory still. I mean, come on.
I mean, I agree with you. Trickle down is horrible. I mean, in the fact that they're still trying to pass it off today, in just different ways, it's the worst thing ever. But just circling back, the war on drugs started with Nixon.
Yeah.
Like Reagan just made it an actual war on drugs, but Nixon started that shit, and he started it with the explicit reason to expose the gay community and the black and brown community, so that they can go in and they can prosecute people that were political dissidents.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, is that I think definitely he knew better with trickle down. I think he knew better. And I think, honestly, that, and we can do a whole show on this, but I think the religious right knew exactly what was going to happen too.
Well,
I
the
do.
religious
I
right
knew.
exists to. I mean, when it comes to, you know, these large nebulous organizations that coalesce,
Yeah.
um, the religious right, if you will, um, is about controlling people, and quite frankly, I think it's about white supremacy.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
mean, point me to the prominent black voices in in you know the evangelical movement right now, and we can have a discussion. But I don't see a lot of them, and when I do, they if I'm using the term correctly, they appear to have capes on.
Mm, Tim Scott. Anyway, sorry, sorry, man.
No.
No, I just it's frustrating. This is a frustrating thing to see in what's happening in Texas because, I mean, I think the biggest thing for me, the reason why I'm so frustrated, Aaron, and you've seen this too, is that the whole reason why we're doing this is because, man, we miss each other getting together at the bar and sitting down and shooting the shit. But we have friends, that I'm not sure, and I'm sure there's plenty of people out there too that you have friends that I'm not sure would sit down and have an honest discussion about this.
Yeah.
I think they would just see, and this is what I'm seeing from a lot of politicians right now, especially maybe transferring into our next topic of the acquittal. I see a lot of people literally burying their heads in the sand and just standing on this Trumpian line
Mm-hmm.
and saying, I will never cross this line.
Yeah.
Like Lindsey Graham today, dude, went on TV and said, we're screwed. He said, I think he said, we're damned if we don't get on. We're damned if we don't recognize that Trump is the head of the Republican Party right now, which is probably the most truth I've ever heard come out of his mouth. But it is a sad indictment to where not only a political party is, but where millions of people in the United States are.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've seen it yet, but on Vice, man, you should watch Who is Q. They have it's a 3-episode thing on Vice, and they do a great job talking about QAnon. And this is the mindset, man. This mindset, it's pervasive in the Republican Party right now.
It's scary, and this goes back to conversations we were having during the summer. I don't know the exact number of bad cops. I don't know the exact number of good cops. But the fact that I have to ask that question is problematic. I don't know how many Republicans are Trumpers and how many Republicans really wish they could just, like, where a fun thought exercise for a second. Okay.
Okay.
Where would we be had John McCain chosen a competent running mate and John McCain got elected president? There would be plenty I wouldn't agree with, no question. But this isn't where the Republican Party would be. That's John McCain held some opinions that I totally don't agree with, and if we went to focus on them, I'd probably get pretty upset about. But I found the guy to be an honorable politician.
Mm-hmm.
He stood up for what he believed in, whether I shared that value or not, and he was authentic.
Yeah. Yep.
Now, he hurt himself by choosing Palin. So obviously this reality that, this fun fiction I'm playing with. But I mean, had John McCain chosen Colin Powell or Condoleezza Rice as his running mate, he would have negated the black vote for Obama in 2008. And he just said, look, we're coming off conservative politics right now. The country's center right. And look, that's exactly where John McCain and Colin Powell and Condoleezza Rice sit. Mm-hmm. Versus where we've taken things, a party totally beholden to evangelical Christianity and now overt white supremacy. I mean, evangelical Christianity was at least a bit of a veil for overt white nationalism.
It was a
Now,
hood for it.
I mean,
See what I did?
it is hard for me to distinguish, and I don't like that, because I know you and I are probably going to talk to a friend later that we know has voted for Trump, and I don't view him as this type of person.
No, not at all.
But I have to question a whole lot of other people I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to wonder where we are. And, like we've said for quite a while, if anything quote unquote good came out of Trump's presidency, it's that the white supremacists aren't hiding anymore.
No, they're not. They weren't hiding since Charlottesville. Charlottesville,
right,
in my opinion, was the big test. They tested to see, okay, does Trump really have our back?
Mm-hmm.
And by God, he did.
Well, by suggesting there's good people on both sides, and that's a weird one, because I've always said this. I bet even Hitler kissed a baby. Nobody's 100% evil. So yeah, were there probably some people who are good to their families and to their friends that showed up? Yeah, but you know what? On that day, you helped represent evil. You helped represent the antithesis of what the American melting pot is supposed to be, and you basically shit on it. And then you literally shit on the walls of the Capitol building years later, representing white supremacist ideals. So it's really, really hard to separate this. Like, oh, you're a good family man. Well, so are plenty of guys who put on hoods on the weekend.
Exactly. And I don't understand how in the world, I mean, this is a small piece of everything, but I don't understand how you laid it out so well in the fact that, yes, this was something that was unprecedented. This was an assault on our country, and you let someone go on vacation, but yet you don't want to acknowledge the white supremacy that isn't. Wow, I'm going to use a phrase from a movie, and you'll know what it is. Come and look at the white supremacy inherent in the system. Come and look at the white supremacy inherent in the system. I mean, I'm being oppressed. It's amazing to me that we simply refuse to address it. Like, we got so close in addressing white supremacy during this summer. We not so close. We got closer. But notice, Aaron, it's gotten awful quiet again recently. This narrative is not. We have to continue this narrative, man. And it's imperative that we do. And I hope that, obviously, we're taking care of COVID right now, which we have to take care of COVID, because if you're dead, I can't talk to you about racism. I can't.
Well, and that's where I would say, when you said that, I think one, it's difficult to sustain movements without consistent what's the word I'm looking for, like agitation, events happening to keep it right. And obviously the police interaction with Black, predominantly males, is always in the news. But I think one aspect is that Black Lives Matter is not as decentralized as some other organizations, but there is no head of Black Lives Matter. There is no
right.
There isn't, and I wasn't around in the 60s, so I don't know if it seemed like Martin Luther King was the leader of this large movement, or we look at that in retrospect. So there may be other things going on, but what really needs to happen right now is the biggest voice available needs to be able to champion that cause. And one thing that I take as a positive is that in the town hall the other night, Joe Biden acknowledged that the Black community has been hit, and communities of color have been hit far worse by COVID. and aren't getting vaccines. So this is a voice of power and authority, and a white voice of power and authority taking up the cause. And we can't solve every problem at once, but I think him highlighting that is a good thing.
Sure, absolutely.
I
We've
get the
got to
point.
have the
I get the point. You're stating that, you're right. We got to get COVID under control. So hopefully step 2 or 3 from Joe Biden is saying we've got an incarceration problem. We've got a police community problem. We've got a systemic issue here of keeping people of color from being able to get into schools, from getting into better positions, from being represented so that they want to grow up and be an engineer and stuff like that. And that's what it's going to take. But I was at least slightly heartened for him to make that a point. Now it's his job now to make sure that we rectify that issue. That, okay, hey, it's one thing to be like, oh, there's the tumor, but if you don't go get treatment, then
right, exactly.
Then what was the point? So, but I thought that was at least a half step in the right direction. But I also think if anybody expects Joe Biden to solve this problem alone in 4 years, and I know you don't, I know that's not what you were saying,
right,
but I mean that this is, we've spent 400 years not doing the right thing. 12 or 8 years of Obama was nice, but it's a drop in the bucket,
Yep. My friend, we've come to halftime. I can't believe it. Like it's halftime. That's crazy. That's absolutely good.
Sponsored by Jägermeister.
Oh,
not sponsored by Jägermeister.
Your league.
See,
I followed your lead, dude.
The Fireball.
Oh yeah, see, look. A little pre-gaming, just a little bit.
Fireball's been rubbing the tummy wrong lately, so I decided,
wow, yeah.
I decided I needed a change of pace, and because Jägermeister's always a good choice. That's when things aren't going your way, try Jägermeister. Right. What you got this week?
I have 2 incredible individuals who are not able to be with us tonight, but probably will be watching maybe later. I'm going to have to give the halftime shot to Roger and Gia. They actually spent the afternoon across the street shoveling snow out of the driveway for several of their elderly neighbors. I think they're in like some type of subsidized housing, and they were left high and dry. Nobody came and did anything, and they were like, you know what? Screw that. We're going to take care of it. So there you go, guys.
Absolutely.
True patriots right there.
Good friends of the pod and good people. Thank you.
Sláinte. Oh, that's smooth, dude. That is smooth.
So I think it's a good time. We reached out today and asked for some feedback. I thought I had it bookmarked. Some feedback. I guess I'm gonna have to actually go to the page. My bad, folks. We were hoping to put a poll out to get a.
That's what she said. What?
To kind of solicit some topic ideas. Just love having everybody write in and respond during the show, but kind of want to know what your interests are as well. So let me get to it. But again, wanted to put out a poll, and Facebook does not do polls for pages. They only allow it for fan pages. You can't even do a poll on your individual page. On like you and I can't do it. I don't understand it. And they said they haven't gotten rid of it, just that they are shelving it until they've got the, they're gonna update it, kind of thing.
So was there like a poll police or something like that? Were they like, oh nope, you guys are just polling too much?
I did not. in looking it up, I didn't see that they'd had issues and had to take it down or anything like that. So I don't know if that was necessarily the case. And I really don't.
Wow.
But we'll go through some quick hitters.
Okay.
And I'm just stalling because I'm getting the spinny wheel. So TJ had responded. We'll just go straight through. Rush Limbaugh died. He did. So hey,
are we going to respond? Are we going to respond to all of these?
Well, that's why I'm calling them quick hitters.
Okay.
I think my response right there is all the more that needs to be said about Rush Limbaugh.
Man.
Yeah. I'm not gonna shit on somebody on the same day that they died. But
yet we'll elect another, Supreme Court justice, within 24 hours of someone dying and just shit on her. I'm sorry.
No, nobody asked me.
Did I say that out loud? I'm sorry. My filter is gone.
As Mark Twain said, I don't look forward to anyone's death, but I look forward to, or I've read their obituaries with glee, something like that. Look it up yourselves.
Right.
He wrote deep fucking value quotes, roaring kitty. And I think that's the user being sued for SEC fraud over GameStop.
Oh yeah.
Here's my quick thoughts on that.
Okay.
Yeah, it was cute that a whole bunch of people on Reddit figured out how to game the system, no pun intended, and made a few dollars. But ultimately they didn't. And the fact that other people get away with it doesn't mean that they should too. Okay, it was fun, but now that they're being gone after by the government, yeah, I think it's bullshit. Because the government doesn't go after the big players that do this on a regular basis. I mean, this is pure market manipulation. You want to talk about fraud and things like that. I mean, that to me, I don't understand how this doesn't, but I actually think the stock market itself is just a gigantic con anyway. I'm just not in favor of it. I do understand the opposing viewpoint or why it exists, yada yada. But you better get some serious economists in here to change my mind, because I just don't see the value of it long term. Yes.
Well,
go ahead.
I'm sorry. No. I think it's just it's classic Americana. I mean, we eat the poor. We eat everyone. The 98%, 99%. We eat them up. And the 1% is constantly like, well, that's wrong. You can't do it like that. And I kind of agree with you, but I'm from the camp. I'm like, fuck it, burn the shit down. I'm like, I don't know. I obviously you can't do that, but boy, I loved seeing it stuck to the man. I loved it. It was really cool. But you're right. If you got to break the law and you get caught, okay, man, come on.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing about that. They stuck it to a man. They didn't stick it to the man. Wall Street still exists. They stuck it. Yeah. They stuck it to one particular guy that they don't like. Okay. Cool. Great. But I mean, and this could be an entire show unto itself.
Yeah.
Reddit is exactly what's wrong with this country. Never mind Parler and 4chan.
Oh my God. What about 8chan?
Well, it's 8chan's obviously a shithole.
Yeah, right.
But, I mean,
exactly.
Reddit is just because Reddit's slightly better. I mean, come on. Let's strive for more. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure there's some. I've gone onto Reddit and there's good information. There's funny shit. It's massive, but man, the worst of it. Come the fuck on.
I agree. I agree with that. There is a side of Reddit that just. Yeah, I'll shut up and we can move on.
No. And then. T say you want to talk about Texas, and I think we covered Texas pretty good.
Yep.
nobody really engaged on is Tom Brady the GOAT across all sports, because
Don't do
he's
that
not.
yet.
He's
Don't do
not.
that yet. Don't
He's
do
not.
that yet. Nope. Don't do
Um,
that yet.
that's
Don't do
cool.
that.
It's cool.
Okay.
And
Okay.
then Jake, I'd be interested to know your guys' take on sports attendance looking toward the
Hmm.
future. Here's my quick thought on that. I
Yeah.
think it's a complex issue in just the same way of opening schools and opening businesses across the country. Um, People who took it seriously early on are in a better place. Yeah, I think if you can do it with the appropriate precautions, and especially now that we're getting vaccines and things like that. Yeah, I think we can gradually allow people back to sporting events. But in New York, in Florida, in places where we've seen spikes that aren't taking it seriously, that I mean, New York's trying to take it seriously, but with a population density that they have. I saw an
Right.
article earlier today. It's like California has tried to take this seriously from the outset, and their governor's been serious about it from the outset. Why is it a problem? I'm like, because think about the population density that exists, and all it takes is a handful of people who don't take it seriously enough to cause problems for a larger group of people.
Yep.
and and even
Absolutely.
and even in the places that like didn't take it seriously early on, if those were majority rural places,
Mm-hmm.
well, okay, if you live in BFE fucking Oklahoma, you can get away with it for a little bit. But let's look at what's going on now. Look, Oklahoma's at bad, right? Oklahoma's gotten bad.
Oklahoma's bad, man. Yeah.
So, you can pretend something doesn't exist, and then all of a sudden it
But
shows up on your doorstep. It exists.
do you know, actually we are worse than Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Like
Oh yeah.
Indiana is we are screwed. You know, and as far as the sports things go, I think obviously it's pretty clear. Major League Baseball, I believe, soccer, um, I think they're poised to be able to handle this outbreak a lot better, just simply because of the timing of their sport.
Mm-hmm.
I think that if I own a sports bar, and I'm not pointing any fingers here. I'm not pointing any fingers here to our favorite watering hole. Okay, no, this is not. But if I had the extra capital and I didn't invest in outdoor seating, I you're missing the boat here, because
Mm-hmm.
I think with sporting events, I think that you're going to have open air sporting events. You're going to have to do it. And the problem is that we have gotten used to going to open air sporting events, I think, during this past summer, and people have just said, fuck it. We're fine going to baseball games. Why can't we be fine going to football games? Lucas Oil Stadium is open. It's an open air stadium. Well, maybe one or two games a year
Mm-hmm.
might be open air. And the fact is that you're in there, and it's a big place, yes, but the way COVID travels is through water droplets,
Yeah.
really small microbial water droplets, kind of like smoke. And so people just don't, I think that we get so caught up in trying to get back to normal that we're not realizing that we have to create a new normal. Aaron, I honestly think, man, and this is just me, I'm not trying to be the harbinger of doom about this. Um, Pubs are going to look different.
They have to.
I think
They have
things are
to.
going to look
Yeah.
different, man. They have to, because I just don't. But once again, quick hitter. That's just
No, absolutely. And this shows you, again, this is the type of thing that shows you the mindset of types of people. And it's not about stereotyping, but it's about acknowledging tendencies in thought processes. And by and large, people like us are like, oh, okay, this is something we have to adapt to. And moving forward, life's going to be different.
yeah,
And quick aside, quick little asterisk. Um, the flu, the regular flu, is stupid low right now,
yeah,
right? And it's because of all the precautions that are being taken because of because of COVID, wearing masks, social distancing, staying inside more, things like that.
Guys are actually
But
washing their hands after they take a piss. I
but
mean, that's amazing.
these, to me, it won't seem unusual to make the decision to just wear a mask at times. I think that will become a norm. There will be people who choose not to, and we need to accept as a society that's okay. Now, while we've got a pandemic going on and we need to keep the stores and things like that, no.
Yeah, that's
But
not okay.
but 2-3 years from now, I think we're going to look a lot more like Asia in the sense of I've got the sniffles, I'm not feeling great. So for everyone else's benefit, I'm putting this mask on. I need to go out. I need to go out and go to the store, but I have a personal responsibility. Do I think culturally Americans are far different than that, but I think a lot of people are going to adopt it. I mean, if you'd have told me 30 years ago there'd be this movement of people for organic food and grow your own gardens and stuff like that, I'd probably
Right.
been a little
You're like,
skeptical. But now it seems pretty natural, and I'm like, shit, I want to grow some tomatoes and stuff in my side yard.
yeah.
So I think generationally, I think the next generation will be like, you know what? It's probably, if I'm going to the mall, if malls still exist a generation from now, if I'm going to
Do
the
they
mall,
still exist now? I mean,
barely,
it's
but I it would not surprise me if your grandchild,
there you go.
if your grandchild, if it's not normal for them to be like, you know what, I'm going to the mall or I'm going to a sporting event and I'm just going to wear a mask.
Yeah.
It's totally common in Asia because of population density and the recognition that they've had outbreaks, right?
Yep.
And
Absolutely.
I watched the John Oliver show the other night, and he's like, the next epidemic's coming, folks. It's going to happen. This isn't even a trial run. It's gonna happen.
Yes.
What are you gonna do? And to tie it all together, of course, the governor of Texas issued, hey, stay at home. It's the roads are bad. You could die. This is dire weather. Blah 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 blah. And everybody's like, yeah, we should probably fucking stay home. This is a really really bad thing. Let's if the storm takes 2 weeks to weather it, let's weather it. But you can't fucking wear a mask. Is it not the exact same thing? We've always joked about what people be like in London. Can you imagine Texans in London in 1941? Well, it is my right to have my light on at night. I don't know about this whole turn your lights off because the blitzkrieg's coming.
I got to see how my stocks are doing in this power company that I, invested in. Damn it. Yeah, dude. It's maddening to me. I mean,
the irony that major oil and electrical companies are actually taking action on climate change themselves far before any mandates from the government. How ridiculous. Yeah. They're like, you know what? Yeah. We're fucked. Car companies? Car companies. Do you think General Motors is deciding to go electric because of Joe Biden and AOC? They're like, or do you think they see what's coming down the pike?
Absolutely. Absolutely, Jesus, man. It's crazy because you see the incredible complacency of America. Jessica said it best. It's about personal responsibility, man. We have lost the art of community. I mean, we've lost it. We really have, Aaron. We're so caught up on individual rights and individual this, and this is my right, and this is this, and we've forgotten how to take care of each other. We think that if we go across the street and leave a plate of food for somebody, oh, look at me, I'm doing my civic duty. But yet, going out and just not even knowing if you're spreading this disease, not even having a responsibility towards your fellow human beings, it says a lot about where we're at. And honestly, I think that the slogan of those people are "fuck your feelings," and we all know where that came from. Mm-hmm. And so it's disheartening. It is disheartening to me. But here is the silver lining, my friend. 80 plus million,
Mhm.
80 plus million were tired of the bullshit. And I think that, yes, given the right circumstances in several different areas, if there was, a couple of tens of thousands of votes difference, maybe different outcome to the election, but it wasn't. And we were actually able to see how many people in America, and this is the thing, people are like, well, Trump had 74 million votes. And it's like, okay, that's great. That's good, because the more people that vote, the more we get to see what our country is made up of. There's no more hiding. There's no more, guessing like, oh, well, how many people are really voting for Trump, or how many people really feel that this is bullshit. We're able to see who really care.
Well,
I'm sorry.
No, it is a good thing. It's disheartening that there were 74 million people that felt that way. But to me, from a political point of view, if I were the head of the DNC, or if I were a political operative, I'd say there's X percentage of people that can be gotten to,
Mm-hmm.
that
Especially now.
that have said, these are things I believe in, and it's our job to convince them that not only is the belief they're following flawed, but that the belief we're putting forth is the better choice.
Mm.
And that's easier said than done, because my personal belief is that Barack Obama thought he could overcome a contentious Congress simply by talking, simply by saying, what's your idea? What's my idea? Let's talk about the pros and cons of those ideas. And I'm a very pragmatic, logic thinking person, and I think Barack has that approach too. I'm not in any way comparing myself to Barack Obama.
I was like,
because
were you comparing yourself to a very
no.
fine-looking
My
black
jump
man?
shot, is far prettier than that, dude.
Okay, yeah,
That's
no,
an
I get it. I get it. I
that's
get
an
it.
ugly ass left hand X out jumper, man.
Mm,
I got a better jump shot
but
than that.
he buried it though, man. I'm saying,
You've never seen me shoot, Evan. You've never seen me with the rock in
okay,
my
no,
hands.
no, hey, I bet you hold it up there, brother. You're just like,
Oh, I leave it. I just leave it.
leave it. Yeah, there you go. There you go. I digress. So go ahead with your point, my friend.
Plus, I bet I could dunk in high school and college. I don't think Barack could dunk. He might have could. He might have
Oh,
could.
I don't know. Go ahead, man.
But I tell you what, I want to remake White Men Can't Jump with me. And
I was going to say, what's up, Woody Harrelson? Dang. Okay. So pretty.
But I think he believed that, but I think there is still a portion. I don't know what portion that is, but there's a portion of these people that you can say, aren't you upset that in your name people storm the Capitol? Aren't you upset that people in your name consistently put forth not just bad arguments, but bad faith arguments?
Yeah.
Aren't you mad that what you've been supporting for the past few years, this Make America Great thing, has been roundly rejected, not just by liberals that you already disagree with, but the rest of the world, who objectively looked at you and said, here's a new opportunity. Here's a totally new type of president. Let's see what he does. And went, whoa, no fucking way. And that the ones who did are fascist dictators. Doesn't it bother you that the only people who are like, this is a good guy, is Duterte from the Philippines, a North Korean madman, and Vladimir Putin, who 10 years ago you'd have said was a pure communist and you wanted nothing to do with? Why are you okay with this? These are the people to go after. These are the people to target and say, look, I get you don't support the Democratic platform A, B, C, D, E, but don't you support a government that's trying to work for people? You might not agree with how they're trying to work for people. And this is what I've always gone back to. I don't know if John McCain had the best ideas or not. You got to let some of them play out. Look, some of
Yeah.
Barack's ideas didn't work out. Some of Clinton's ideas
Mhm.
didn't work out. Some of Joe's ideas aren't going to work out.
Sure.
And a handful of Trump's did work out. You do have to allow things to play out. But right now, look, man, your guy not only lost by the largest margin in recent history. In his midterms, he lost the Senate and the House. And he's been impeached twice. Check your company.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Exactly.
there's a certain percentage of people who are gonna be like, no, fuck it, I stand with this guy no matter what. Hey, I'm not getting to you, and that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm still, I'm a hopeless romantic, a hopeless optimist when it comes to these things. I believe there's X% of people who can be peeled off there, who are like, you know what? I'm not a Democrat. I'm never going to be a Democrat, but I'm not voting for this bullshit.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this is where maybe them splitting the party. Hey, split the party all you want.
Yeah, no, I mean that obviously, helps out Democrats, but I think it all
The
boils down.
downside of that is it will show how poor Democrat policy is sometimes too.
Sure,
If
maybe, yeah.
if you got all three portions of the office and you're still not doing it right.
True. But I think this all boils down to, and this is the last thing I'll say because I want to get to the Hey Aaron segment because it's going to be a good one. The last thing I'll say about it is this: is that I think there's an even bigger lie than the election lie that's going on in America right now, and that lie is that you cannot be wrong.
Right.
I think that I think that we are so scared of being wrong. I have to believe, and I'm with you, man. I am usually a glass half full guy. I have to believe that there are Republicans sitting on their couch watching the aftermath of, and we didn't even get to talk about this tonight, but the aftermath of the acquittal, and seeing that Trump is now planning to run in 2022. McCarthy and McConnell, in their different ways, are both
How fitting that there's a
kowtowing.
McCarthy out there.
Yeah, I know. That they're kowtowing to this guy. I have to believe that they're sitting on their couch saying, I may have been wrong. But there's just something there's something I think that we believe about being an American that doesn't allow us to say that we're wrong. And that within itself is unfortunate.
I would agree with that.
It's
Absolutely.
it's when we acknowledge as human beings, when we acknowledge, you know what? Yeah, I backed the wrong horse. That says and indicates to other human beings, people who are actually human beings, who don't jump on them and say, ha ha, I told you so. It signifies to those people, okay, let's have a discussion then to make sure that, you know what, you don't make the same decision again. But it just doesn't seem like people are willing to admit that they're wrong.
No.
They're willing to yes, Io, that's it. It's what we call American arrogance. We are not willing to admit when we are wrong. We were wrong about weapons of mass destruction. We were wrong about backing the Contras in 80. We were wrong about Vladimir Putin and how he sidled up, next to our president, and we just let it happen. We were wrong about the Republicans were wrong about voting to acquit Trump both times, in my opinion, but especially this time. When you come back and you say that he was guilty for inciting this, but because of a technical thing, you said, oh, well, this is something for the courts to decide. We're not willing to say, you know what, I fucked up. As much as we say that, as much as we're like, yeah, I stand up and I accept my fault. No, we don't. Because there's always a but that follows it. Fucked up, but it wasn't all my fault. No, that's not how it works.
Yeah.
That's not how it works, man. So that's what I think, man. And on that note, unless you have anything else to say.
Nah, man.
Okay. we are going to go to the Hey Aaron segment, and we have a video segment.
Boom.
Yes, a video segment that Aaron is going to watch. Well, actually, both of us are going to watch, and we're going to end the night on a question from our good friend Jake, talking about Tom Brady, by the way.
Tony.
Tom Brady.
No.
Whether
Tony asked the question. Jake did not ask the question.
Oh, Tony. Oh, my bad.
I want to give appropriate, you know.
Oh, okay. I thought it was Jake. Anyway, well, we love you anyway, Jake. Okay.
No, Jake asked the question about returning, you know, fans returning.
Oh, yes, returning. That's right. Tony, my bad. Tony asked the question, is Tom Brady the GOAT across the spectrum of sports?
Okay.
I'm going to play
again. I just don't want misattribution. Tony didn't ask the question. Tony totally disputes the question.
Oh, okay.
I threw it out there as an example, and Tony's like, "Nah, fuck that shit. He's not."
Okay. Well,
I responded, but we're good.
Tony had a piece to play in this.
He does. He is a player in the conversation.
Thank you for fact checking me, my friend. I appreciate that. Okay.
I don't ever want to misrepresent.
Hey,
to knowingly
it's funny.
misrepresent.
It's funny. My daughter's watching, and she said that my granddaughter is watching this. Honey, she doesn't understand what shit is.
I was going to say the only thing about shit that she understands is shitting at this point, right?
Yeah, that's it. That's pretty much it.
6 months old. About
oh
6?
No. She's 9.
9 months old.
Yeah, 9 months old.
By the way, if after she's 1 year old, you refer to her in months,
I'm not going to do that. No. I'm a grandpa.
She's 23 months. No, she's almost 2 years old.
Exactly.
I don't want to speak in fractions.
Oh, here we go. Io's already weighing in. Okay, let's watch this video, and
this gonna be fun.
Yeah. This is gonna be good. I just want to feel your anger.
Feel me, Evan.
Here we go. Okay, so we have the GOAT, supposed GOAT here, doing something that I don't know, Aaron. I'm just gonna play it. Here we go.
This trophy, we'll see here. Oh man! Oh, wow! Oh, they got it. That was the most important catch of the season right there. Chris Godwin, Gronkowski, and Mike Evans on board that boat there. They just passed off the Lombardi Trophy. Incredible. When we got that close to it. Thanks, Captain Lou. Freedom Boat Club.
There's so much I want to say, but I want to hear what you have to say first, my friend.
My first thought is probably that who's the commissioner of the NHL? Because it used to be Adam Silver, and he's now the commissioner of the NBA, right? So I don't know who the commissioner of the NHL is anymore.
I have
no idea. NFL. Oh, you know what? Never mind. Everyone forget the last 12 seconds Aaron just said. I have a feeling Roger Goodell is not thrilled about seeing that video.
I was wondering why you went NHL on me. I was like, ooh, he's going like in depth on this analysis. No, but you're right.
There's a tangential thing that put the thought in my mind, because if you remember a couple years ago, Ovechkin carried the NHL trophy around and just kept drinking out of it everywhere he went and doing crazy shit with it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I mean, the potential for that trophy to get damaged right there was pretty high. But two things. Tom Brady's the greatest quarterback of all time, so I'm pretty sure he was confident in his ability to throw it. And I'm pretty sure he knew Gronk and the other dude on the other boat would catch it, or that they all make enough money to buy a new one. Was it? Yeah, man. I mean, they're flaunting who they are. Absolutely, no question. I don't disagree. They're being a bit disrespectful. But the video, Tom Brady barely able to walk a little bit after that because he was drinking too much avocado tequila. I mean, the pro athletes at the end of the day are a bunch of lads who are getting paid to play a game. And that's what you saw, is a whole bunch of rich boys throwing their trophy around. I don't know, man. I'm not going to fault it too much. Were they disrespectful to the trophy to a certain extent? Yeah, but is what it is.
Okay. Beside
if that would have been Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, would we even be having this conversation? Are we only having this conversation because we don't like Tom Brady?
No. First thing I want to say is, beside Chris Godwin, hashtag Tampa so white.
Oh yeah.
I'm just saying, hey, let's use the one medium where we can keep like most brown and black people out of. Let's go on boats. Yay. It's like, I'm like, yeah, that's a great celebration tactic.
Tom Brady and Gronk were like, hey, defense, you guys going to go out on the boat? And they all went,
You're like, nah, I ain't doing
that's
that,
not
bro.
how we do, man. We're going to go to the beach and basically put a toe in the water. We'll see.
He's like, we're going to go to the club, man. That's what we're going to do. Yeah. We're going to put our mask on. We're going to go club.
Have you seen the clubs in Tampa? We'll be there.
Yeah, exactly. But the second thing I want to say about this, man, and I know this is the Hey Aaron segment, but oh my God, I do not think Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback of all time.
Okay.
I do not think he is. And I have some type of reasoning behind that, but I've been pre-gaming.
Okay.
And I think the reason why I say that is twofold. Number one, yes, I do hate Tom Brady. I hated Tom Brady when he was at Michigan. I hated him coming out of Michigan. I hated him going to the Patriots because I actually liked Drew Bledsoe. And when Bledsoe got hurt and he came in and he acted like a superstar, and I was like, damn it. I was just mad. Yes, I am a hater. Ladies and gentlemen, I am a hater. My name's Evan. I'm a hater. And you guys are supposed to say, hi, Evan. How are you? I can't stand Tom Brady. And I hate saying that. I just do. I hate saying that because I'm like, I don't want to have hate in my heart toward people except for Donald Trump. But, and once again, did I say that out loud? My bad. I did.
I blame Preem Gaming.
There you go. But I just, my reasoning is because there were so many great quarterbacks who, and I know people will be like, well, this Tampa team isn't that good. Man, come on, man.
Really? They're not going to, no, no one's going to remember this Tampa team 10 years from now. They won a Super Bowl. Quick, name me the top 5 players on the team and where they rank historically.
No, Gronkowski, Brady. You've got Ndamukong Suh on the line. You've got Chris Evans. The receiver that catches everything.
So you've kind of outed. You basically helped me answer my question, and more importantly, before Ndamukong Suh won a Super Bowl with Tampa Bay, what was he most well known for?
I know, kicking a guy in the balls.
Okay,
that's
so
it.
I actually think it is important to note that this is not a historically great football team, and Tom Brady left a historically great organization and led a team to a Super Bowl. I hate this as much as you do, man. I really, really do.
This is like going to the proctologist. You realize that, right?
But
this is like just
by any metric you want to, and this is why I don't love these conversations, because everybody's got their own standards. Everybody's got their own parameters, their own metrics that they think define it. LeBron, MJ, all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But by any metric you want to look at, Tom Brady's won more Super Bowl rings as a quarterback. His passing yardage, his touchdowns, his percentage, his QB rating, all of this combined to put him at the top of the discussion. And there's few other players in other sports. Now, if you want to get to the original question, is Tom Brady the GOAT across all team sports? Fuck no.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck no.
Exactly. No.
No, not even close. But specifically as quarterback, who's better?
Like right now or
ever? I mean, this is the GOAT conversation. Who's better? It's only a handful of people you can mention.
Joe Montana.
He's in the conversation for sure. But here's the thing. I think Joe Montana is, you know, if we're going to have a conversation about greats, yeah, you're going to mention him. And then Tom Brady's going to hold up 2 hands with rings on them. I know, man. I don't like it any more than you do.
It's a different game now.
Do you have another video to play?
Oh my God.
Look, to the question at hand, no, the man is not the greatest athlete across all team sports. He's not even a great athlete. Dude's a quarterback. I said it. There's a reason why people spotlight Mahomes, or even going back as far as Doug Washington. Okay?
Doug Williams.
Doug Williams, sorry. Yep. You can see how I confuse things there.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
But Tom Brady's
y'all
not,
don't look alike. I'm just
Tom Brady. Well, Doug
Aaron, I'm just
Doug Williams played for Washington.
I said that because I knew you could handle it, my friend. I love you, man. Go ahead.
But I mean, Tom Brady's not even one of the top athletic quarterbacks of all time. But I mean, when you come to wins, when you come to the rings, the things that truly matter, you know, that's look, if people want to yeah, IO, you hit on the head. Honestly, as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to Tampa, I'll remember it for Bruce Arians out here just showing what an ally looks like. Yes.
There you go.
Dude put together one of the most diverse coaching staffs in the history of the NFL, and he deserves plaudits for it. And they won. They won because of it. And I would imagine that plenty of people would say that. But again, I mean, when it comes to having these greatest of all time conversations, they're good bar conversations, but unless you walk in knowing exactly what the parameters are, which once you establish parameters, there's seemingly no debate. Because if your final argument is rings, everybody wants to argue MJ versus LeBron. If your final argument is rings, Bill Russell has something to say.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. Kareem has something to say about that. You know, you're right. I get it. I get it. I do get it. And so, okay, I will concede this. If we are talking about rings, Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback of all time. My God, that hurts so bad for me to say. God, that hurts so bad for me to say.
Do you still like Michael Jackson?
It's hard, man. I mean, okay.
Right. Was Bill Cosby funny? Was Bill Cosby funny?
Wait. Okay. Now we're getting into kind of a different conversation.
No, but this is why you don't like Tom Brady. You don't like Tom Brady because of his politics and who he is as a person. Not how he plays quarterback.
It's not his politics. Well, it's not just his politics, but seriously, his politics are not playing into my dislike. Like, my dislike of him comes from loyalty to other teams, loyalty to other teams and other people, right? I'm Ohio State all the way.
Okay.
If you play for me, I'm having a hard time.
You've not liked Tom Brady since day one because of his Michigan affiliation.
I'm having a hard time accepting Donovan Peoples-Jones as part of the Cleveland Browns. Like I love the guy now, but a year ago, you know, I would cuss him in front of his mom. I'm just like, I just don't like you. What's that?
If the Cleveland Browns could sign J.J. Watt, do you want him?
Dude, I want J.J. Watt.
Yeah.
I need J.J. Watt.
Even if he doesn't play all that much, he's a locker room guy. He would lead. He would help that defense, even if he only played a handful of times.
Io just did. He just dropped
No, underrated. Come on, he makes everybody's top 10 list, if not top 5.
Now wait a minute. Now let's go to the balcony on this a little bit. Let's step back. Let's take a higher view. Kareem rocked the skyhook. I mean, just all that was his thing.
Rock the sky hook. Rock the sky hook.
There you go. But I think Io brings up a good point. Okay, instead of talking about the GOAT, who's the most underrated quarterback of all time, in your opinion? The extended segment of Hey Aaron.
Underrated quarterback? Ugh.
Underrated quarterback.
I mean, again, this is one of those things. Do I get to define my own parameters? I mean,
yeah, that's fine. And to Io and Jessica and Kiana, you guys, most underrated quarterback that you know. Most underrated. Aaron, what you go? And now I'm gonna tell you mine.
That's again tough one, because I mean that means they enjoyed success and aren't given the plaudits that perhaps they deserve. I'm gonna hedge a little bit here, because the NFL and football is not my predominant. I don't go deep in the weeds on it.
Okay.
But I would say in the modern era, underrated, if not kind of mocked, I'd say Eli Manning. Guy's got 2 Super Bowl rings.
Oh, that's a good one.
Guy's got 2 Super Bowl rings, and he's Tom Brady's nemesis. So
that's a good one.
I mean,
wow.
I don't think McNabb won anything though, did he?
But here's the thing. I'm right there with you, Io, because I didn't go McNabb. I went Randall Cunningham. He did not win. You're right. Neither one of them. I'm here to listen and learn. Yes, Kiana. Neither one of those Eagles quarterbacks won a Super Bowl. However, based on pure talent and probably, and I don't know this, win percentage, and just watching them work. I said Randall Cunningham, but I almost said Warren Moon as well. That guy, I don't know how many records that guy broke.
Eddie George.
I mean, he's running back, but yeah, I mean, he
Who am I thinking of? Who was the who was the quarterback for Texas?
Jeff George? No, I'm just kidding.
No. Who's the quarterback for
you're talking about Vince Young?
I am thinking
because
of
Vince Young.
Eddie George. Why did I say Eddie George?
Because he's a hell of a running back. That's why.
Did he go to Ohio State?
Hell yeah, he did.
That's why. Vince Young. Yeah, I'm thinking of Vince Young. Vince Young beat Reggie Bush in the national championship, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, that's who I was thinking of.
He was awesome in college. Vince Young wasn't too good in the NFL. But
how much did that have to do with the team he played for?
Well, it was Tennessee, and you're right, they were an expansion team, and probably some things went wrong there. But I do think you're right. I think Eli, and Io does too. Yeah, I can agree with that. There you go. That's my girl. But anyway, I think
controversy
on him.
Controversy.
What? There's no controversy.
Michael Vick.
Mm-hmm. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen,
he'll forever be remembered as a worse quarterback than he was because of the things he did. For sure.
You're right. He was a special talent. That guy had the world at his fingertips, and just once again, I don't know. This is just my narrative that I always say. Why do we always look at the what and we don't look at the why?
Oh, I agree.
Why?
I
know what I'm saying? I'm not saying you did. No, not at all.
Mm-hmm.
Not at all. But I'm saying that's what we do. We tend to look at the what and we don't understand the why. Why did he do this? What happened to him that caused him to do this?
I have long said that it does not excuse his behavior.
Mm-mm.
But Black people in the South, if I may
I'm say careful now.
speak, you know, in a broad generalization,
I didn't
have
pass this with the rest of us during
have
our monthly
a
meeting, man. I'm just saying.
have a different attitude toward dogs.
Mm.
And probably perhaps some Black folks in Detroit and Watts. And they probably also have some different attitudes toward fire hoses as well. You know, if your experience with large aggressive dogs is they've been sicked on you and not that they're a good family pet. And again, I think it's despicable what he did.
Yeah.
Let's also not forget that John McCain thought it was still a good idea to recognize chicken fights in Arizona while he was still running for president. So everybody got flaws that are born from a variety of things.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And on that note, my friend, I have nothing else for you. Yeah. So it's my second favorite part of the show. It's where you get to send us out, brother.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Folks, this was a good one. I'm so glad that we got engagement before the show to give us some topics. We're going to try to figure out, I'll make the poll myself if I need to for next week, but so happy to have everybody tuning in and have a lot of engagement. And it's nice to have, in a strange way, it's nice to have to like kind of search for a little bit of content because there isn't someone rage tweeting at us on a daily basis, giving us verbal diarrhea to address on a day-to-day basis. Never mind week to week. So my main thing is, folks, it's cold out there. Stay warm. If you need help, if you can't get out, if you're disabled, you're old, not feeling well, hit us up, whether it's me or Evan, or we might enlist Gia and Roger because apparently they're available. Or I might volunteer other people's teenage children because
there you go.
That's what teenagers are for.
There you go.
But yes, stay in, stay healthy. If you can get your shots, get your shots. I'm not quite on the list yet, but hopefully not too far away. Wear your mask. Wear 2 masks is what we're being told.
Mm-hmm.
Stay safe, stay healthy, and honestly, just keep giving us that feedback. Keep tuning in, and we're going to be here for you for the rest of the winter and probably for the foreseeable future. By the way, this is episode 45.
We're almost there, brother.
We've been at it. We're going to have to do something special for the 1 year anniversary coming up. We are less than 1 month away from what I recall as the shutdown. I was looking forward to another St. Patrick's Day at our local watering hole, Chatham Tap Fishers, and they had to say no to that. So we are less than 1 month away from that. So we are 11 months into the shutdown, nearly a year into us deciding that this is the best way to stay together and stay happy and safe and sane. So love you all. Hug your loved ones, and give us that feedback. Give us all those likes and subscriptions if you're watching this on YouTube, because I've decided to add all that stuff. And we'll see you next week.
Black people vote.
Cheers.
Sláinte.